The Inland Empire Small Business Development Center is sponsored by the U.S. Small Business Administration, the Inland Empire Center for Entrepreneurship, the County of Riverside, and the City of Riverside. The following IE Success webcast was made possible with the support of Smart V-Card, the elite branding tool for entrepreneurs, business professionals, and business owners. The Smart V-Card is the perfect blend of brand representation, video content, and a strong SEO and social media strategy. Visit smart-v-card.com or call 951-697-3098 for more information.
Hello, and welcome to another IE Small Business Success webinar on how to start, grow, and expand your small business. This program is brought to you by the Inland Empire Small Business Development Center and today's business sponsor. I'm your host, Vincent McCoy, and on this program we will be talking about what the City of Riverside is doing to help entrepreneurs and small business owners succeed. Our guest is Steve Massi, an Economic Development Coordinator for the City of Riverside. He focused on expanding the technology and entrepreneurship across the city. Steve worked with university partners, workforce development, venture capitalists, and businesses to ensure startups and entrepreneurs survive. Welcome, Steve.
Hi, Vince. Thanks for having me.
Good to have you on the show. So, Steve, tell us a little bit more about what you're doing in this creating this ecosystem for entrepreneurship in the city.
Yeah, there's a lot going on in the city of Riverside, and what I'd like to advise any kind of business is just find your passion, find your niche on how to plug in. Depending if you're a small business who wants to grow beyond the city, or if you're a startup that's looking for money, the city puts an enormous amount of resources in to help these businesses connect and find their ways to thrive. I'll just talk about a couple that I work with to get entrepreneurs comfortable pitching their company and their product. We host an event every Wednesday morning called 1 Million Cups in downtown Riverside at a coffee shop called Back to the Grind. And this program is ultimately backed by the Kauffman Foundation, which is a $2 billion foundation that helps entrepreneur communities grow and connect and get people comfortable pitching their company, their product, as well as getting feedback from an audience. And it's pretty structured. So yeah, there's a registration process. You go through 1millioncups.com/Riverside and you apply to present, and you get 6 minutes in front of a live audience of entrepreneurs to talk about your company, your product, your service, and then you get feedback from entrepreneurs, and it helps you kind of build your confidence and explain what your company can do. And can you do it in 6 minutes? The idea is that this is preparing you to ultimately pitch to investors. So that's one example of something that I work on. Another one that I'm working on is about developing our technical talent for the city of Riverside. A lot of time it's hard to find talent. It's hard to find technical people. So there's a program that we're working called Tech Hire, which originally came out of the White House. And Tech Hire is designed to accelerate training programs for technical workers so that employers can find and access talent from non-traditional sources. So we're talking things like online universities. We're talking about on-demand type of programs. There are these things called accelerated training programs. Community colleges are adjusting their credentials and their certificate programs to accelerate training so that we can have more workers in this region, specifically in the city of Riverside and the county, to make us more attractive to employers. And ultimately what we think is going to happen is that we're going to produce a large talent pool of technical workers, and through that we're going to see more entrepreneurs. So it's exciting.
So when you talk about technical workers, are you talking about people in technology-related field, or are you talking about people in...
I'm talking about people in technology-related field, which we define as a very broad way. So in our industry, in our region, we've got industries such as manufacturing, we've got healthcare, we've got logistics and supply chain, we've got transportation. We have large clustered industries, but within those, we have companies that are making a difference. So within those companies, we have to be able to satisfy the technical demand, whether that's drone delivery or self-driving cars or automated GPS type picking systems. These are technical systems that are required for these businesses to operate. So we need to have a workforce that can back that up. And that's ultimately what Tech Hire is doing through the city of Riverside, through our partnerships with and Smart Riverside, as well as throughout the county.
So are you saying that currently in Riverside there are companies that are trying to develop these technologies such as driverless cars, and they need to find talent, local talent, who can help them move those companies forward?
Exactly, yeah. So I know UCR is doing a lot of research, Cal Baptist through our higher education partners, I know they're doing a lot of research in these new and emerging technologies. A lot of people don't realize that Riverside County has the momentum and the dedication and the research going on to produce these competitive technologies. And we need entrepreneurs and companies to build up that ecosystem. And the city is putting resources and helping those businesses thrive. So another example is what is going on over at Riverside IO, which is a co-working space in downtown, which is actually currently housed within the Riverside Excite Incubator. The incubator is a partnership between the city, the county, and UCR, and it's a place for research professors to come and incubate their ideas. There's also other companies that are being incubated through different services, and they're connecting with coworkers and independent contractors, and they're building this thriving connection, and they're sharing talent, they're talking about resources, they're doing consulting, they're developing prototypes. So a lot of exciting tech things are happening in downtown.
So you mentioned two terms, co-working space and incubator. And maybe some in the audience might not be aware what you mean when you say co-working space and incubator.
Co-working is a term that basically allows independent workers or small companies to come together in an open environment where you don't have to take on the expenses of having a lease or an office. You can go to these things called co-working spaces where you pay a small nominal fee and you get access to the internet, you get access to a table, you get access to a mailing address, and you also get access to other like-minded type people who are there to work, and maybe there's some social connections that can happen. I know for a fact through our own Riverside IO co-working, an actual company is formed. Two independent contractors who had equal skill sets came together, formed a company, and now they're out there developing their company through web application development and other services. So things happen in these co-working that it's difficult to explain, but when you participate in it, you ultimately become a better and more well-rounded entrepreneur.
Okay. Tony Hsieh, the founder of Zappos, talked about what you described, and he described it as friction.
Yeah.
In order to make technology work and to make these companies thrive, you have to have friction where these people are close enough to each other that they rub off on each other, and that rubbing off creates something that you described, those two creating one company.
Yeah, and it's a new way of working today. The traditional methods of working where you go into an office and you stay at a company for 5 to 10 years and you develop your career path that way, that work model doesn't work anymore. Today, it's more like you just described. There's connections, there's friction, there's people collaborating. People can work from project to project. They leave companies, they start companies. So the workforce today is very mobile, it's very adaptable, and I think employers need to understand that in order to figure out how they're going to thrive and work within that. So examples are like the co-working or 1 Million Cups or programs where people can come together, talk about what they're very good at, and find ways of collaborating.
So you cleared up the definition of the co-working space. What's different between that and an incubator?
Incubators are a more formal process to build and grow your company. Incubators typically go from 3 months to 24 months or so. Say you have an idea or a concept, you want to come together, develop what's called a minimum viable product, which usually happens within 12 weeks, and that's you testing your market, developing prototypes or finding beta customers or people that are going to say, yes, this is an actual product, I will buy this. From there, you start to enhance your services, you form a company, you form the different services of your company, and then you grow beyond that. That's what an incubator will do. And they'll surround you with services from experts, like what the SBD provides. People who understand finance and accounting, people who understand social media, people who understand how to do e-commerce. Subject matter experts that can help build these companies and nurture these companies beyond a small office and start hiring. So the city likes these kind of programs because it produces more quality businesses that are based on revenue and profits as opposed to an idea, but they also help develop the workforce, and they bring people into the downtown and into the city and allow them to have opportunities in these new risky type ventures.
Okay. So in the incubator, you mentioned the support services. Is there a cost to the tenants? Are they called tenants for the incubator?
They're called members or tenants. Within the co-working space, there's a membership for about $100 a month. And within the incubator program, there's no cost other than, well, I take that back. There is a cost to be part of the incubator as well. and that ranges anywhere from $50 to $350. So the process for the incubator is a lot more difficult because there's an application process that needs to be reviewed by a board, and then depending on space and what services you're going to require is determined whether or not you get accepted or not accepted. However, within the co-working space, that's open to everybody. So anybody can come and apply to be a member within the Riverside IO co-working, and if there's space, then you're welcome to come there. There's also a second co-working facility opening up in downtown in the next couple of weeks called Mind and Mill. And this goes back to how does the city support other businesses? And there's lots of these different things coming. And the downtown area is going to be the hub of this new tech ecosystem, and through new businesses like co-working and new pitch fests and venture capitalist money that's going to start to flow into the downtown area. So we look at the downtown area with new lofts that are being built, more microbrews and more coffee facilities. So it's going to have that vibe that a lot of other regions seem to have. That we're trying to produce that so that we keep and we nurture entrepreneurs in the downtown Riverside area.
So it sounds like Riverside is moving quickly and is moving to expand its kind of I guess there's going to be a sense of excitement in the city of Riverside about entrepreneurship and technology. Now, I also heard that you're working with or do some work with a group called Voc Academy.
Voc Academy is a makerspace, but it's a very, very deep service type educational focused makerspace. And they're based in Riverside off Spruce Street. Gene Sherman, who's the founder and the CEO, has done a tremendous job over the last 3 years of getting his company ready for that next stage. And if you can imagine the concept of a makerspace, what used to be known as shop or wood classes in the high schools before they took that away, a makerspace fills that gap where we have people who can learn skills, such as in Voc Academy's case, they teach electronics, they teach injection molding, they teach CAD/CAM design, 3D printing, they teach welding, so that they offer a number of different skills that you can learn that employers need. There's a retiring workforce, an aging workforce that has skills that's leaving the employers, but there's also a new generation of workforce that doesn't get access to these type of skills. Voc Academy is well positioned to take that on and fill that gap. So what we're seeing is people who are kids who may not be bound for certain four-year college opportunities, but yet they're very inclined and very skilled with working with their hands. Through Voc Academy assistance and a partnership with Voc Academy, they can find their passion and they can understand that they're very good at their skills. And from that, employers are coming in and offering them very good paying jobs to learn these skills and promote that kind of expansion. So it's exciting.
So they're filling in what we used to get, as you mentioned, in high school, is now being filled in outside on the private side.
And what's unique over at Voc Academy, there's all these new subcultures happening with I'll use Comic-Con as an example, and the elaborate costumes that people manufacture, and they design on a computer, they print it on a 3D printer, they sew costumes, they can do all that within Voc Academy. And they produce these very elaborate and impressive costumes.
I heard it's a good place to go get your Halloween costume made.
If you want to create the latest and greatest skull with bleeding everything else, yes, you can do that at Voc Academy.
As I said, you mentioned what you described as an exciting environment. So what's the city's perspective and direction in terms of attracting and supporting businesses?
Yeah, small to medium-sized businesses are the core of everything that we do in economic development. I mean, they're hiring our workers, they're putting more people back to work, we're training people. So we look at organizations like the SBDC as our true partner to help build these programs. The city itself has gone through a number of internal changes and internal processes to help streamline the process. We've called it Streamline Riverside internally, which is about allowing businesses to come into City Hall and very quickly get permits, understand fees, go through the process to get entitled a lot quicker and more efficiently. Economic development has these things that we put together called pre-development meetings, where we'll coordinate all of the internal staff necessary for a business to launch, and we'll have an internal meeting before we get to the permitting process so that we all understand the necessary elements that a businesses need. We do a lot of things to help finance companies with SBDC as well with microloans. I think Rob Moran from the county has talked about a lot of that. I'm building relationships with venture capital people to bring them into our world so that we have lots of different financing options. So the business community is so critical for economic development in the city to grow and reach these milestones. So whatever a business needs, our website, riversideoed.com, is a hub and a portal into all of these resources. From that, you can get access to state, federal, as well as local city and county type of information. And then a phone call for us. We're always happy to come out and meet and do any kind of just assessment and provide resources for our team. We're a team of 5, so we can provide a number of different expertise. I do rec tech and entrepreneurship. I have a peer who does food and ag. We have another peer who does retail. We have someone who works with the broker community. So among the team at the city, we try and cover all the bases to have a good understanding of what businesses need.
Well, Steve, thank you very much for being on the show. You shared some great things, and we look forward to hearing from you in the future.
Thanks,
Thank
Vince.
you.
All right, my pleasure.
I want to thank all of today's sponsors for supporting these and other IESPDC programs. Without their support, none of this is possible. With their support, success is achievable. For more information on how to start, grow, and expand your small business, visit our website at iesmallbusiness.com or call 951-781-2345. I'm Vincent McCoy for IE Success. Thank you for watching.
The Inland Empire Small Business Development Center is sponsored by the U.S. Small Business Administration, the Inland Empire Center for Entrepreneurship, the County of Riverside, and the City of Riverside. The following IE Success webcast was made possible with the support of Smart V-Card, the elite branding tool for entrepreneurs, business professionals, and business owners. The Smart V-Card is the perfect blend of brand representation, video content, and a strong SEO and social media strategy. Visit smart-v-card.com or call 951-697-3098 for more information.